Okay. So, back to this. See if we are still in Shion's mind right now, if we have switched. It's a very quiet afternoon, as always. Okay, we're still in Shion. Right. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mion when I go shopping. I've gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally have to buy things in bulk. Today I shuttle between shops and my home.
あれは買った、これも買った。ああ、そうだ。今日って100円セールの日じゃなかったっけ？忘れてた。
Being in a good mood, I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be.
もう何こんなとこに止めてるの誰？
I gave it a kick with no hesitation. Shion, I mean, I know you're posing as Mion right now, but I don't think that's gonna do too well for you if you just kick the gangster's bicycle. Motorbike, you know. I don't think it works well for you like that. Yeah, parallels. We're getting this scene again from a slightly different point of view, it looks like. And a year earlier, there were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was a beautiful sight. This is fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. I didn't realize that the owners of the motorcycles were right nearby. They looked pretty scary. The thing is, Keiichi didn't do it on purpose, though. At least I don't recall him doing this on purpose. She just hauled off and kicked the thing. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening too quickly for me to grasp what was going on. Even has the same accent as the last group, too. Yeah, he did it absent-mindedly. She just went, motorcycle kick. Whoa. They can't really talk properly. I didn't have a clue what they were saying. I had to translate their alien tongue into normal human words in order to understand. We are very upset because you knocked down our motorcycles. Thank you, Shion Siri. You should immediately pay for the repair and compensation. Yeah, that was probably it. That's our offer. What do you say? We'd be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that? What in dumb... That... I guess he's trying to say, huh, what in the damn? But that doesn't really make sense as a curse sentence.
ごめんなさい。さすがにそろそろ翻訳不能かも。だとぐら!
I know what they're trying to say, but somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. It wouldn't be fair to those who obey the rules if there were no punishment for those who disobey them. This is an accident, but it must also be God's will. That there is no God here. But God, you can use me to punish these guys, but how will you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course, I wasn't afraid in this situation at all, because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These three guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. They didn't look good doing it, and they had too many disadvantages. First, there was the differences in gender and in the number of people. Even if I did something wrong, as men shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were in the right. Added to that, there were three of them. It already looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea, and on top of that, they're asking for money, not just an apology. Thanks to these facts, the public will be on my side. So this was a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win would be to take my money before somebody finds out. Considering that, taking me to this narrow, secluded alleyway might have been the smart move, since fewer people will find out about this situation. I knew how slim their chances of winning were. From the very beginning, they picked the wrong girl. I'm Mion Sonozaki now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okonomiya. Soon enough, the people of Hinamizawa would notice me and gather round. They don't spare mercy for their enemies, no matter what. The punks didn't know this area well. Even if they did, they'd have known how silly it was to rob Mion. Plus, the alleyway isn't as empty as they assumed. The side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people will be passing through here. The time had almost arrived. If I held off a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people. Then the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This was a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me or lift me up by my collar, they weren't going to actually resort to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining the ladies first mindset. But, as a wicked person, I wanted to toy with them a bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I wanted to paint them as even more villainous and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. That demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I'd only need to act as a poor, helpless victim a little further. Like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately because they get nervous and draw back. If it were a truly threatening situation, that would work, but I'd need something different here. I'd pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, why don't I challenge them? And eventually I'd start trembling, my voice would fade, and I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving in to fear. Mion and I are probably the only ones who are capable of pulling that kind of stuff off. Well, I'm probably better than her.
そんなにしつこく言わなくてもいいでしょ。悪かったって言ってるじゃないですか。
I talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes! By the way, I've heard men can't shed tears on command. I feel sorry for them. The three punks faltered a bit due to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep it going. That way they blatantly looked like they were picking on a helpless girl.
もう許してください。
なんだよこら。今までの店はどこ行ったんだよ、にゃろ。
そんなのだって。
Boy, the sound mixer kind of flubbed these lines, didn't they? It looked like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. At that moment...
いい加減にしないか。
Hey, Satoshi.
もう泣いているじゃないか。やめてやれ。
A boy around my age appeared. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks.
なんだ？なこの野郎！足んねえことしてった邪魔するな！
The punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at him. They sure were ruthless, but the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known that he was getting into a dangerous situation, yet he didn't hesitate. Yep, there's the theme music again. Also, the impetus for Shion to help out Keiichi a year from now. I'm pretty sure this is why she decided to help Keiichi out. He must have wanted to shout back at them, but he probably never used that kind of language in his life, so he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. He might not have even known what to say, so he just kept on glaring at them to let them know he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, might have thought he was just lost for words in his fear. But I knew different. The boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. They grabbed him and knocked him down. They hit, kicked, and tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew it was his victory. You know, moral victories only go so far when you're trying to heal broken bones. In the end, a local passersby stopped the punks. They made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up. He was covered in dust. He smiled when our eyes met and asked me if I was all right. He didn't look particularly okay himself, though.
あんたもよくもまあ勝てない喧嘩を買う人ですね。次からは勝てる算段がついてから喧嘩を買うことを深くお勧めしますけどね。
最初は迷ったよ。
He laughed, saying that he was watching from the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away. But instead, he worked up the courage and stepped in.
そういうのは勇気って言わず、万有って言います。身の程知らずとも言うかな。
うん。ミオンは口が減らないね。助けてくれてありがとうくらい言ってくれよ。泣いてたじゃないか。
別に泣いてなんかいません。あれはちょっとした演技で。
いいよ、演技でも。
And you know, from everything I'm seeing here, it really does seem like we're going to go with Chapter 2 as the canon, however you want to say that, connection between this and Chapter 4. It seems like Chapter 2 is going to be the actual connection point. Just because we're getting so many... I mean, I know we're seeing this with Shion's eyes and everything, but we're getting so many callbacks to Chapter 2's interactions between Shion and Keiichi.
ちょっと信じてないでしょ。 私が本当に泣き出すと思いますか？
思わないよ。天下御免の園崎美音が不良にいじめられて泣き出したなんて誰も思わないよ。
何を笑ってるんですか？
Of course, that is stated just based on what's seen so far, and my opinion is, pretty much open to change, but that does seem to be where they're going with this.
全然信じてないでしょ。私が半泣きなんてするわけない。
信じるから信じるから。
I realized one thing. He must be one of Sis's friends. He didn't seem to realize I'm her twin. He thought I was Mion with a different hairstyle. Mion and I had to live separately since before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa, and I was in Okinomiya. I lived in a totally different environment from her. So it's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people know I exist. I almost told him that I'm not Mion, but managed to stop myself. Shion couldn't be here. He's from Hinamizawa. It wouldn't be good if he thought he saw a Mion look-alike in Okinomiya. So I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him could be more difficult than handling those punks.
でもま、ミオンにも少しは女の子らしいところがあったんで安心したよ。
Yeah, definitely a lot of callbacks to Chapter 2 here.
なんだか妙に引っかかる言い方ですけど、つまりはどういう意味です？
Of course, watch this all be the vengeful spirit of Satoshi. Watch him be the impetus behind this all. He died and his spirit was possessing people to go kill. Something like that.
ミオンのことだから、なんだか珍妙な憲法でも使って瞬く間に撃退してしまうんじゃないかって期待してたね。だから泣き出した時は正直驚いた。
だからあれは泣き真似だったって言ってるじゃないですか。さっきから人の話ちゃんと聞いて。
He gently put his hand on top of my head and stroked it as if stroking a kitten. I can remember somebody doing that to me when I was little, but it had been quite a while since somebody stroked my head. I didn't know what to do. Why did it make me so embarrassed? My face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything.
バカにしてます？ひょっとして。
I stuttered in embarrassment. He looked calm as if he was used to doing this.
なんでもいいよ。よかったじゃないか。
よかったって何がです？
無事で。
He smiled while he kept stroking my head. His smile looked divine. He wasn't going to stay for long. He'd already saved me from those guys after all.
じゃあ、僕は行かなきゃならないから。そろそろ行くね。
あ、うん。
I wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he just saved a friend from danger and wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mion must be friends who knew each other well. So I couldn't bring myself to ask, "What's your name?" Mion's friend smiled once again. His smile looked as refreshing as a clear blue sky. This time, he smiled a bit mischievously.
安心しなよ。ミオンが泣いてたなんて誰にも言わないから。もっとも言ったところで誰も信じないだろうけどね。天下無双の委員長が泣いてたなんて絶対誰も信じない。
Probably true. even at this point. He patted the dust off his butt once again. He walked back to the sunny main road, away from the dark alley. Then he turned around.
じゃあまた明日学校でね。
うん。学校で。
He disappeared into the brightly lit street. I continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. I was just staring absent-mindedly at the bright light. That was the first time I met Satoshi-kun. Not even allowed to walk freely under the sun, I met a boy on a sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? Notebook, page 5.
そりゃあサトシだよ、サトシ。その特徴的な雰囲気と気安く頭を撫でる癖は間違いないね。
ふん。サトシ君って言うんだ。
The boy from earlier is called Satoshi Houjou-kun. Mion said that he's always daydreaming. So he didn't believe that he saved me at first. Or she didn't believe he saved me at first.
普段はしっかり者の妹にいろいろと尻を叩かれてるな。
ふん。妹がいるんだ。
うん。妹はサトコって言ってね。なかなか面白いやつだよ。なかなか悪知恵が働くしね。そのくせ追い詰められると泣くし。見てて退屈しない子だね。まあ最近はいろいろとあってね。ちょっと調子を落としてるけど。
His sister came up naturally in the conversation. I tried to soak up every scrap of information about Satoshi-kun. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, the feeling I got when he stroked my head came back to me. I must have been blushing.
もしもし？シオン？
え？ああ、ごめん。聞いてる聞いてる。
そもそもね、サトコがおばと折り合いが悪いらしいんだよね。サトシは大人だから、その辺はうまく立ち回ってるんだけどさ、サトコは嫌なことがあると素直に表情に出しちゃうからね。
What Sis told me was very interesting. She told me that the parents of Satoshi-kun and his little sister are dead. Satoshi-kun and Satoko are now living with their uncle and aunt. They don't seem like very respectable people. They're always fighting, and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi-kun and Satoko entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprises me the most is the fact that Satoshi-kun's parents were the Hojo couple who were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance the uncle and aunt took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi-kun's parents died after bothering them so much, and even left them their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Things have gotten worse this past year, too. Women can be really nasty bullies. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying if it's a kid. On top of that, women tend to be careless about propriety than men. As a result, Satoko seems exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi-kun bravely protecting his little sister. Just like when he saved me.
なら、サトシ君も普段は疲れてるってことになるのかな。
え？
サトコがおばにいじめられるたびに、きっとサトシ君は妹をかばってると思う。妹が疲れるのと同じくらい、サトシ君も疲れてると思うのは、私。
どうだろうね。
Had I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken aback. So that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling. because he's always wearing that blank look, so she never considered it. How can she be that insensitive even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that.
まあそんな話はいいや。で、彼は普段はどんなことをしてるの？文系みたいだから読書とか好きなわけ？
あ、
Yeah, take a drink. You will get alcohol poisoning. So don't do that, I think.
想像に漏れずに普段は読書して過ごしてるよ。最近読んでる本はね、なんて言ったかな。
I continued asking about him. About what he likes, dislikes, and what he thinks about. I asked Sis all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It was the first time I'd ever been that interested in somebody. Somebody's got a crush. I didn't want to admit I had feelings like that. Did I fall in love just because of a stroke on the head? Am I stupid or what? When I remember the feeling of his hand on my head, my heart feels tingly. I tried doing it myself, but it didn't feel the same. I'm stupid. What am I doing, stroking my own head?
おねえ、私もうダメだ。バカになっちゃった。
え？何を突然気色悪い声で笑い出して。
お姉にはわかるまい、この気持ち。
When would I see him again? I felt as if my suffocating life had finally grown brighter.